Good morning, good morning. Okay, so we have done our crystal of the day, we've done our reading of the day, and now we're going to do our tarot study of the day, which is we are diving deep into the Fool. And so we've been learning all about the Fool, and each day reading from a different book or books. And I do believe that we are going to do an automatic writing practice with the Fool, maybe tomorrow, and come into a little bit of a meditative state, and then start writing. I'll give more. We'll just talk about that more tomorrow, because the book we have today is a longer read. So okay, we're going to go through these again. We have the Rider-Waite. The Abyss, Tarot of the Abyss. Let's see if I get these closer to you. This is the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. Sorry. The Light Seers. The Wandering Star. The Good Tarot. This is the Star Tarot. Wildwood. Tarot of the Divine. And the Tarot of Mystical Moments. So, and then the book we're reading today, I think it's our last one. I think that's it. I think we have read every single throughout all of our books. Let me look here too. Yep. So maybe. Yep. This is the last one. Unless I get a new one today. Just kidding. Maybe. Just kidding. No, I'm not. You're not. Okay, sorry. I'm a little addicted. Okay, so we have 78 degrees of wisdom. And then there's the Fool with it. So, cheese. But so this is by Rachel Pollack, and this is one of the ones that they say it's like a kind of like the Bible for tarot readers. That one, and this is one of the ones that whenever I first started really deep diving into tarot, like I kept hearing about this one, and then also the holistic tarot. But yeah, so, and this lady, this Rachel Pollack, she's the same one that wrote something else. I got one of these, I don't remember, but there's another one I want of hers too that I just don't have it yet. It's like I think I did order it but it's not here yet. It's called A Journey of Souls or something like that, but when it comes we'll do that one too. But anyway, 78 degrees, sorry. I'm a little all over the place. So this one here is, they show I think this is that the Thoth Tarot. I don't have that, but yeah, so they do have the depiction there. All right, let's dive in. We have already looked at the Fool in one aspect, a lot of aspects, because this is the last book, and we have all these cards. Don't you just love her? Are you a tarot nerd like me? And the image, so in the Fool, in one aspect, the image of a spirit totally free, but we can look at the Fool from another side, the leap into the archetypal world of the trumps. Imagine yourself entering a strange landscape, a world of magicians, of people hanging upside down, and dancers in the bright air. You can enter through a leap from a height, through a dark cave, a labyrinth, or even by climbing down a rabbit hole, chasing a Victorian rabbit with a pocket watch. This lady's in my head. I was going to do the meditation for tomorrow. I was thinking of trying to get us there. Journey us through to the Fool. All right, so focus, Sarah, focus. Whichever way you choose, you are a fool to do it. Thank you. Why look into the deep world of the mind when you can stay safely in the ordinary landscape of job, home, and family? Herman Melville in Moby Dick warned his readers not to take even a step outside the ordinary path laid out for you by society. You might not get back in again. Praise be. We don't want back in, do we? No, no, no. And yet, for those willing to take the chance, the leap can bring joy, adventure, and finally, for those with the courage to keep going, when the wonderland becomes more fearsome than joyous, the leap can bring knowledge, peace, and liberation. Amen. Interestingly, the Fool archetype appears more in mythology than in structured religion. An institutionalized church can hardly urge people beyond the limits of institutions. Instead, the churches offer us a safe haven from the fears of life. Mythology leads directly into the heart of those fears, and in every culture, the mythological insight contains the image of the trickster, pushing, goading, jabbing the kings and heroes whenever they turn away from the inner world of truth. In the King Arthur legends, Merlin appears not only as a sorcerer and a wise man, but as a trickster. Constantly he appears before Arthur in disguise, as a child, a beggar, and a peasant, an old peasant. The young king, already seduced into the pompousness by his high social position, never recognizes Merlin until his companions point out that he has been tricked yet again. More important than the laws of or military strategy is the ability to see through illusions. The Taoist masters were famous for playing tricks on their disciples. The Fool archetype has even found social expression as the real court gesture. We know the image of from King Lear of the Fool, permitted to tell the king truths no one else would dare to express. Today, our comedians and satirists, I probably said that wrong, enjoy something of the same privilege. In many countries, a yearly carnival releases all the wildness repressed through the rest of the year. Sex is freer. Various laws are suspended. People go in disguises, and the King of Fools is chosen to preside over the festival. Today in Europe and North America, April the 1st remains April Fool's Day, a time for tricks and practical jokes. The picture beside that of the rider pack shows the Fool as conceived by Oswald Worth. The older tradition than that of Waite. It pictures the archetype of a grotesque wanderer. This image has been interpreted variously as the soul before enlightenment, a newborn child entering the world of experience, and the principle of anarchy. Elizabeth Hayek has provided an interesting interpretation of Worth's grotesque image of the Fool, placing him between judgment and the world. They're talking about the cards, obviously. She describes the Fool as what the outside world sees when it looks upon someone who is truly enlightened. Because the Fool does not follow their rules or share their weaknesses, he appears to them in this ugly, distorted way. Isn't that the truth? Think way back before when you were still deep in the matrix or whatever you want to call it, and you would see somebody just, I don't know, just so free and just so like, it would almost seem like they were just a little nuts, right? Hayek describes the Fool's face as a mask, put there not by himself but by the outside world. The last card, the world, presents the same enlightened person, but viewed from the inside. That is by himself. So, and again, so we reversed way back when, and we'd look at somebody like us, like ourselves back then, and we would think they're a little crazy. And then now looking at us ourselves, we're like, it's like a whole different image of what we would have seen back then. It's just crazy, right? In some early tarot decks, the Fool appeared as a giant court jester, towering over the people around him. His title was the Fool of God. The term has also been used for idiots, harmless madmen, and severe epileptics, all of whom were thought to be in touch with a greater wisdom, precisely because they were out of touch with the rest of us. The archetype persists in modern popular mythology as well. By their fantastic, primitive nature, comic books often reflect mythological themes better than novels. In Batman, the hero's strongest enemy is called the Joker, a figure who has no past and is never seen without the wild makeup of a Joker in a deck of cards. The Joker is not descended from the Fool, as I and other taroists have assumed. It was invented by New York Poker Club as a wild card to make the game more interesting. It does, however, call forth the same archetype as the Fool, being based on the court jester. The rivalry of Batman and the Joker sends a clear message to the readers: do not rebel against social values. Support law and order. In recent years, the magazine has described the Joker as insane rather than criminal. To society, the way the Fool, instinct rather than rules, is a dangerous insanity. So again, remember when you were back, whenever before you came on this path, how you would look at you, and now how you look at you. And then we need to apply that to how we look at other people, because maybe we're just not where they are yet, right? Like, it's like maybe we have some lessons to learn from those people that we're calling crazy. We're thinking I'm crazy. So far, we have looked at the Fool as the other, prodding us from complacency with his jokes and disguises. As the self, he represents the long tradition of the foolish brother or sister, despised by the older brothers or sisters, yet finally able to win the princess or prince through instinctive wit and kindness. Curiously, the image of the Fool as self occurs more in fairy tales than myths. We look at myths as representing forces larger than ourselves. This simpler fairy tale allows us to express our own foolishness. Like Boots or Gluck in the fairy tale, always accompanied by various animal helpers, the Fool in almost every deck walks with a companion. In weight, the figure is a leaping dog, in others a cat or even a crocodile. I haven't seen one with a cat. I want to see one with a cat. The animal symbolizes the forces of nature and the animal self of man, all in harmony with the spirit who acts from instinct. Mythological dogs are often terrifying. For example, the Hound of Hell's chasing lost souls. But it is really the same beast, only our attitude changes. Deny your inner self, and it becomes ferocious. Obey it, and it becomes benign. So is that doggy or shadow? Is it our past mistakes we're trying to ignore? Is it like, our traumas we need to face, and then all of a sudden they don't become so scary? The monsters in the closet kind of thing. They don't become as scary whenever you, like Monsters Inc. and the how he was like, oh, I'm scary, but then he really wasn't scary. I'm enjoying this read. I listened to this book on audio a few years back, and stuff doesn't stick. So this is like all new to me again, which is very nice. It's like I'm the Fool all over again. Waite's Fool holds a white rose. Roses symbolize passion, while white, the traditional color of purity, together with the delicate way the flower is held, indicate the passions. Here, I'll put that in the little corner here for you, although it's blurry. Sorry. Indicate the passions raised to a higher level. The Greeks saw Eros, the god of love, as a trickster, making the most proper people act ridiculous. But those who already express their folly will not be thrown by love. The Greeks also spoke of Eros in other forms as the animating force of the universe. The bag behind him carries his experiences. He does not abandon them. He is not mindless. They simply do not control him in the way of memories and traumas so often control our lives. I like that. So you may remember in the other books too, they were talking about a lot of tarot readers or books, they say that those are the in the bag or the tools of the magician. And this one, it's like it's all his, which I guess could be turned into tools. All those life experiences and like the shadow work stuff that people call the shadow work, all that stuff that we have been through that could weigh you down if you don't like, if you look at it a different way. To him, he's just like, you know what, it's a part of me. I'm good. I'm not ashamed. There's no shame in my game. There is no shame in that game. Okay, keep going. The bag bears the head of an eagle, the symbol of a soaring spirit. So that would be part of the world card, right? His high instinct fills and transforms all experience. The eagle is also the symbol of Scorpio, raised to a higher level. That is sexuality raised to spirit. The idea of the connection between sex and spirit will come up again in the card of devil. Interesting. Over his shoulder, the fool carries, are they saying? I don't know. Okay. The fool carries a stick like a tramp, but this stick is actually a wand, a symbol of power. The magician and chariot driver also carry wands, but self-consciously, with a powerful grip. The fool and the world dancer hold their wands so casually we hardly even notice them. What could be more foolish than to take a magic wand and use it to carry your bags? Can you imagine a fairy tale in which the foolish younger brother finds a stick by the side of the road and carries it, not recognizing it as the lost wand of a wizard? Ooh, Merlin's wand. Wouldn't that be fun? And therefore not being destroyed like his two older brothers who tried to wield it for their own profit. Look at that. The fool's wand is black. The others are white. For the unconscious fool, the spirit force remains always in potential, always ready, because he is not consciously directing it. We tend to misunderstand the color black, seeing it as evil, or as seeing it as evil or negation of life. Rather, black means all things being possible, infinite energy of life, before consciousness has constructed any boundaries. All right. I'm liking that. I've got to get I guess I could just underline it, but I think I have a highlighter. All right, because I keep saying about how the color black, and I want in darkness, and how I want to rewrite history on that. Apparently I'm not the only one. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to highlight that part right there. We tend to misunderstand the color black, seeing as evil, negation of life. Rather, black means all things being possible, infinite energy of life before consciousness has constructed any boundaries. And you know what? I'm going to double duty this. I am going to also, that one, the rather, that part. Rather, black means all things being possible. Infinite energy of life before consciousness has constructed any boundaries. When we fear blackness or darkness, we fear the deep unconscious source of life itself. When we fear blackness or darkness, we fear the deep unconscious of source of life itself. Thank you, Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel Pollock for writing this. Okay. Like the Joker, the Fool really belongs anywhere in the deck, in combination with and between any of the other cards. He is the animating force giving life to the static images. In the major arcana, he belongs wherever there is a difficult transition, hence his position at the beginning, where there is the transition from everyday world of the minor arcana to the world of the archetypes. The Fool also helps us jump the gap from one line to the next. That is, from the Chariot to Strength, from Temperance to the Devil. To reach the Chariot or Temperance requires great effort and courage, and without the Fool's readiness to leap into new territory, we would likely stop with what we have already achieved. All right, so I feel like I need to do like I'm not gonna highlight that whole thing, but I'm gonna like do a like that paragraph. I feel like needs like a little. I had to do that. Like it needs a little. Like read that again sometime. All right, so the Fool belongs as well with those cards of difficult passage, such as the Moon and Death. Observe the winding road on each of these two, where he urges us to spite our fears. Girl. The minor arcana, the Fool relates first of all to wands, action, eagerness, movement without thought, but it connects us as well to cups, with their emphasis on imagination and instinct. The Fool, in fact, combines these two suits. Later, we will see that this combination, fire and water, represents the way of transformation. And you can see again, fire, wand, and then also like the red stuff in his little sleeves there. But then I'll see all that water, which I guess you could make those icy mountains or whatever, but you could also, those could be crashing waves back there too, right? All right. Finally, the question arises of the Fool's place in the divinatory readings. I have already mentioned the importance of readings for a fuller understanding of the cards. Even more, they help us apply the wisdom of the cards to our daily lives. In readings, the Fool speaks to us of courage and optimism, urging faith in ourselves and in our lives. And I love that too, because I keep going back to how, so again, some readers place the tools of the magician in his bag, which again, these two things can be this and it doesn't have to be this or, but I really like it being like those are all of his, those could be his mistakes and his life experiences and all the things that his traumas and all the things he's been through that don't define him. They're like, they're back there somewhere. They're back there, not here. They're not like, they're not ruling the ship. They're not steering. They're not in charge of the journey. They're not like being blinders in the journey. They're not like Yano suyano tuyano kuyano oyana. Oyana siano tuyano oyana kiano suyano tuyano oyana. They're not in control of our decision making, of our emotions, of our thoughts. They are behind him. It's something that's happened. It's something that is been done. It's there. It happened, but it's not controlling his next move. I love that. Okay, focus. The Fool can often symbolize beginnings, courageously leaping off into some new phase of life, particularly when that leap is taken from some deep feeling rather than careful planning. These belong to the Fool in its normal position. We must also consider the reverse meanings. That is, when the way we have mixed the cards makes the Fool come out with the feet on top. Reverse meanings are controversial among tarot commentators. Those who give formulas as meanings usually just turn the formula around. The simplistic method, which has led several interpreters to abandon the whole idea of reverse meanings. But we can also look at reversals as deepening the meaning of the card as a whole, and generally a reverse card indicates that the qualities of the card have been blocked, distorted, or channeled in another direction. For the Fool, a reversal means, first of all, a failure to follow your instincts. It can mean not taking a chance at some crucial time because of fear or depending too much on plans, the practical advice of others. Another reverse meaning of the Fool will appear at first to contradict the one just given. Recklessness, wildness, crazy schemes all seem the opposite of over caution, and yet they originate from the same weakness, a failure to act from inside. The reckless person superimposes a conscious or artificial foolishness on his life, both because he does not trust the unconscious to act as a guide and because he is also afraid of doing nothing. The second reverse meaning suggests another dimension to the fool, the awareness that great chances must be taken only at a proper time. There are, after all, many times when caution is needed and times when it is better to do nothing at all. The basic thing any oracle teaches us is that no action or attitude is right or wrong, except in its proper context. I do not do reversals, and that there's nothing wrong with reversals. I'm impressed with those who can. It's just that my ADD brain, it just helps all the pictures to be all right. and I trust that spirit will guide and tell the story that's meant to be told and give the message that's meant to be received, for the highest good of all, without having to be on its head. As we go, but it's totally, I don't like, again, it's all in like, that being said, is that's my full strength. That's my, how I create or co-create, or that's how I show up. That's how I use them. And I feel good. And that's how I feel good about using them. There's nothing wrong with, and it's amazing to also do reversals. So either or, and you can do it sometimes and not all the time. It doesn't matter. Whatever you feel, whatever feels good and right to you, do that. As we go further into the tarot, we will see that this concept of the proper time permeates the cards and is, in fact, the true key to their correct use. The card in the Rider pack that falls exactly in the middle of the three lines, that is justice, means a proper response. And that's the end of that lesson today. Shoo! That's a good one. So, again, 78 degrees. Fool's card. Thank you very much. All right. I will see you tomorrow. Now I got to go take a nap after that. I'm just kidding. Have a good day.